But owing to the invention of mass-produced movable type and the Gutenberg printing press, in the course of one generation, in just 50 years, the number of books in Europe went from around 30,000 to more than 12 million. And in fact, some historians estimate more than 13 million books. And the number of printing presses in Europe went from one in 1450 to more than 1,100 by 1500. And so, in fact, this was a medieval Moore's Law. And this is something that had tremendous impact on the world. The access to books gave access to knowledge to all people. It disrupted major institutions because institutions like the church no longer had a monopoly on the access to knowledge and to books. It was also a very challenging and disruptive effect on families, because by the early 1500s, even the very concept of what it meant to make sure your children would be properly educated suddenly involved ensuring that your children learn to read, a skill that takes years of formal training. And we see echoes of these kinds of disruptions in the emergence of artificial intelligence today. And in fact, 100 years from now, we may look back at this current period and see the emergence of artificial intelligence and machine learning as being an inflection point every bit as impactful on the course of human history as the invention of movable type and the printing press. And so, as we work towards an AI future at Microsoft and at Microsoft Research, we think about how can we democratize access to the power of AI in the same way that Gutenberg democratized access to printing and to books. And so as we think about the future of a cloud platform that enables access to these kinds of technologies, we are thinking constantly about what that should look like. And so we think about what is the infrastructure, what are the ceramic or metal type blocks that we need. And we have many ideas, and we're very hard at work in research and in engineering to build out that infrastructure. And we don't really know what it should be exactly. We have guesses, but we're trying very hard to build essentially the wood blocks or the ceramic blocks or the type blocks of the future. And how should all these things be put together into the equivalent of a printing press? And in this situation, we think about what are the AI services that should rest on top of the machine learning infrastructure. And so we have developed ways for people to build their own intelligent chatbots through the bot framework. We've built out close to 30 APIs for cognitive and intelligence services that are open to all software developers around the world to be able to infuse the fundamental building blocks of language and of vision and of web intelligence into their applications. And we've provided high-level programming languages so that people can try to innovate with their own AI algorithms through the service of Azure Machine Learning. And again, we have tremendous uncertainty. We don't know if these are the right pieces that will give us the printing press of the future, but it is our intention to try to understand whether this or other ideas can provide that foundation. And then, of course, tools. Tools to make people more efficient in exploring and integrating these kinds of services into the innovations and the applications that they develop. And whether this ends up being the core of the printing press of the future, or if it'll take some other form, isn't clear, but we are absolutely certain that this is one of the most important endeavors in the field today. And if we are able, in fact, to democratize access and move AI away from being purely